This is my bee house, bee hotel, and it's something I put together for the solitary bees. And in here there are lots of places they can lay their eggs, and most of them are these white straw things you can probably see in the brick there, and in the log next to it the straws have actually been pushed through holes that I've drilled. Now this time of year they are just in there and won't come out again until April or May of next year. However, it's thought good practice that if you can, is to take the cocoons out of these holes and clean it all up, and then store them away somewhere for winter. That way you'll hopefully have a better success rate of the bees emerging next spring. They can get blocked in there, and also there are lots of parasites that live in these nests and kill the eggs. So the job I'm going to do is to take all of these straws out and get the cocoons out. These are some of the blocks that I've taken out of the bee hotel, and they're the ones that would appear to have cocoons in them. You can sort of tell by looking at the end of one of the straws, and you can see there's a mud sort of bit there, which means that she's been laying eggs hopefully along here, and then she blocks it off with some mud. And you can see again, these are just various bits of wood that I found laying around, and you can even use Guinness bottles if you want to, and there are a few in there. And you can use these air bricks. You might have seen that people are selling bricks now with holes drilled in them, supposedly for solitary bees, and they cost £27 each. You can buy one of these things for about £4. Anyway, so what we're going to do is take the tubes out and pull the centres out, a bit stiff some of them, and then they're going to be put into water there, and that will soften the straws to make it easier to get the cocoons out. The cocoons are waterproof, they are like silk almost, so having them floating around in water doesn't do them any harm. And then we clean them and we store them away. There's a fair number of straws there, they've been soaking for a little while. So now we just need to unpeel them and see what's inside. There is a lot of muck, and there's bits of pollen in there, and as you go down you can feel there's one there. There's a cocoon, and what I'm going to do is I've got a bowl of water here, which I'll put them in, and then clean them up in a while. Just unpeel it. Again, there's bits of grub and muck, and there's another cocoon there. Yep, that's another one. What the queen does is that in fact this is a bigger one here, she lays the female eggs at the back of the tunnel, and what happens next spring is that the males who are down this end of the tube, they hatch first and hang out. They emerge, get themselves ready, and then eventually the females come up, so that essentially the blokes are hanging around outside waiting for the females to turn up. bit like a pub in Bedford really. So just keep going down here. There's another one there, another big one. That's not bad. Oops. There we are. And finally, is that dash? No, that's there. Okay. But you can see all the muck and detritus that's in these things. This one, lots of mud. Cocoon there. Small one again. Another one here. Out you come. There we go. Yep, there's one there. And so on. And I can feel all the way down to bottom. There's nothing more in that one. Just try a couple more. Let's see if I can find one. Yeah, that's got a couple in there. Oops. Get bits of pollen actually, just a pollen block there. Well, that feels like a cocoon. And it isn't. It's more pollen. So these things aren't always stuffed with cocoons. Here's one there. And this is another one. This is the end of the tube. So if you imagine any bee that's emerging from a cocoon there has to work its way, probably her way, all the way through all the muck and detritus and pollen and mud to get to the outside world, which is why cleaning them out the way that I'm doing here means that they should have a much better success rate than the sort of things you buy at garden centres, which are just holes which come blocked up with mud and so on and so forth, and you can't clean them. So we'll just have a look. There's another one there. Oh, there it is. And I'll just hold it up. See how much bigger that is rather than the couple we've just had a look at. Okay, so we're on a bit of a roll here. I think there's one in there I've missed. Yep, a small one. That'll be a male. And get to the end, and then for comparison there's another big female. So the females at the back end, they're last to come out. Oops, dropped it. Right, okay, if you leave me to this, I'll get them all sorted out and we'll see what we do next. As well as the straws in blocks and bricks and things like that, I also have some of these things which I've made, and they look a bit like the things you get in garden centres, in the sense that they've got little holes in here where the bees can go in and nest. Now they are different in a couple of senses, in that with this one you can pull the whole block out and you can see the bees as they are laying the eggs. It doesn't disturb them at all. Yeah, so you can see what's going on inside there. This one has a door on the side, so you can just pull that away and the cassette's inside here, so again you can just see what the bees are up to and then just close it up again. With these blocks that go in there, they have the advantage of the straws in that the perspex screen here can be taken off, and then the cocoons are taken out of the grooves. And I'll just hold that a little bit closer, and you can see there's 2 rows there of cocoons, and the yellow is obviously the pollen. So I can take this perspex thing off, take the cocoons out, and then clean the grooves in here ready for next year. Now I didn't put these things out until too late really, so I didn't get much interest, but you can see there's a couple of rows there which we can have a look at. There's some there, 3 rows there, and I think on this one there's also some down here. So I'll just take the perspex covers off and you can have a look, see what's underneath it. On this one you can very clearly see the pollen that the bee is put in there for the egg to feed on when it hatches, and also you can see here and here and here the mud walls that she's built between each section, and you can see there the actual cocoon itself. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. Now with this type of hive, I suppose you call it, what you really do is just take a flat bladed knife and just work your way around the cocoon, and there's one. You can see that, and I have a little pot of disgustingly dirty water with the cocoons going in where they're being washed, and just work your way along and carefully edge out the cocoon. There it is.
Yes, I agree.
So I'll just carry on doing this, and then we move on to the next stage. The cocoons have been taken out of the cassette. These will now be gone over with a blowtorch very lightly, just to kill any insects and predators and nasty things that are still in here. The cocoons have been washed in warm water and dried out, and so next stage is to give them a bath in this, which is a very weak solution of bleach. Jiggle them around a little bit so they get coated with it. Okay, that's that. And next thing to do is to strain them off from here. I'll rinse them and some more water just to get all the bleach off the outsides of the cocoons, and then we can get them ready to go into storage for the winter. The cocoons have now been washed and dried out, and now we just leave them over winter, and I'm going to put them in these plastic trays, and there's 3 trays full of them here. Now, you are sometimes recommended to put these things in a fridge. I haven't got enough space in my fridge, so I'm going to leave this in one of my sheds at the end of the garden, which is unheated and very cold. And the other thing that you're supposed to do over winter is to stop them from drying out. So you just put a tablespoon of water onto here, and the cloth at the bottom here is a J cloth, sort of kitchen cloth, so it's vaguely sort of absorbent. And that's it for the winter, and they will stay in there until maybe April time when they're released, and I'll do a blog about that when the time comes. And in the meantime, I have quite a lot of straws and things to repair, fill, replace, etc. But that's it for the time being. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.